name is Gracie Lovell.
And my name is Caitlin Lovell. And we're twins. Hey!
We go to school at Grant Elementary in Murray.
We just finished first grade and are in the same class.
Our mom is our junior achievement volunteer.
She taught us the difference between a need and a want.
A need is food, clothing, or shelter.
My toys are a need.
It's not clothing.
My tablet is a need.
It's not shelter.
But ice cream is a need.
It's food.
We need to save our money to buy the things we want.
Saving money is really hard because I don't have any.
I do chores around the house to earn money.
I just wiggle my teeth to earn money.
We have learned that our parents work really hard to buy the things they have. We love junior achievement. Hey!
We would now like you to stand and put your hand over your heart and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance with me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We would now like to introduce some big girl twins, Haley and Erica, but they have all their teeth.
I'm Haley Magalette.
And I'm Erica Magalette, and we just finished the 8th grade at Roland Hall.
Thanks, Gracie and Caitlin, for introducing us. I don't know which one of you was born first, but I'm 8 minutes older and about 1.5 inches taller than Erica. This really came in handy for me when we were your age, 7 years old, and we were visiting an amusement park. I was just tall enough to ride a really cool ride, but Erica didn't make the cut. Sorry, Erica.
That was a sad day for me, but even though I'm a bit shorter than Haley, people still can't tell us apart, which has been kind of fun as we've traded places in class a little bit, and our teachers still don't know the difference.
Shh, don't mention that in front of our parents.
Oops, you're right. So, we're here to tell you about our experience with Finance Park here at JA City. Our school doesn't participate in JA programs right now, and our mother, Crystal Magalette, who is the advisory council for junior achievement, really wanted us to have this experience, so she worked it out for us to come with another school.
Since we didn't know the other kids, I was very nervous when we first got here. But I was excited to learn about finance and budgeting, and the other kids and the volunteers were friendly and helpful, so it was all worth it.
At Finance Park, you're given a random real-life scenario. My gross annual income was $53,000, and I was supporting a husband and 2 kids. When I started out trying to work out my budget, I was planning to buy a sports car and a really nice house, the most expensive options available. But I learned quickly that if I did that, I wouldn't have enough money left for the necessities, like food and clothes. At first, I thought that $53,000 was a lot of money. But I soon realized that I couldn't get the most expensive car and house, and that my money wouldn't go very far if I wasn't careful with my budget.
Besides being given a real-life scenario, we also had challenges that came with trying to balance our budgets. I witnessed people losing money or not managing their money well, and I could see that if they had only taken the time to do a careful budget, things would have worked out better for them. Also, some of us had to take a bad luck card. Unfortunately, my card said I had to go to the dentist and take $25 out of my budget. I guess that's what real life is like, and it's a good thing that I had this kind of experience at an early age. My experience at Finance Park was exceptional, and what I learned here will make a lot of difference for me as I become an adult.
I loved Finance Park too, and I'm glad I learned about budgeting because that is a skill I will use for the rest of my life. Now, we are honored to recognize Utah corporations, foundations, and individuals that have stepped forward to provide funding for junior achievement programs.
The Junior Achievement of Utah sponsors for 2014 are
3M,
Ally Bank,
Allographics,
American Express Center for Community Development,
AT&T,
BD and K Maurer,
Bank of the West,
Bill Gallagher,
Bill Morton,
California Pizza Kitchen,
Castle Foundation,
CBRE,
Cedar Home Family Foundation,
Centricom,
CenturyLink,
CenturyLink Pioneers,
CIT Bank,
Citi,
Comenity Capital Bank,
Computech Consulting,
Continental Bank,
Cox Family,
CR England,
Cross Charitable Foundation,
Cuisine Unlimited,
Discover Financial Services,
Emma Eccles Jones Foundation,
Enerbank USA,
Enterprise Rent-A-Car,
Ernst & Young,
Escochet Foundation,
Fidelity Investments,
First Security Bank,
Fred and Anne Marie Lampropoulos,
GE Capital Bank,
GE Capital Retail Bank,
George S. and Dolores Dory Eccles Foundation,
Goldman Sachs and Company,
Green Dot Bank,
Intermountain Healthcare,
Junior Achievement Board and Staff,
Magalette Family,
Mark and Jane Ann Craig,
Key Bank,
Curtin McConkey,
KSL,
Larry H. Miller Group,
LCA Bank,
Mariner S. Eccles Foundation,
Mark and Karen Bouchard,
Marlin Business Bank,
Maverick,
Merit Medical,
Merrick Bank,
Microsoft,
Mitchell and June Morse Foundation,
Morgan Stanley,
New York Life,
Optum Bank,
Pepsi Bottling Group,
Phil Cofield,
Pitney Bowes Bank,
Prowse Development,
Questar,
R. Harold Burton Foundation,
Randy and Claudine Cox,
Ray Quinney and Nebeker,
R.C. Willie,
Real Salt Lake,
Richard Nelson,
Richard Prowse,
Richard K. and Shirley S. Hemingway Foundation,
Rocky Mountain Power Pacific Corp.,
Ron and Janet Gibson Family,
Ruth Eleanor and John Ernest Bamberger Memorial Foundation,
Sally Mae Bank,
Salt Lake City School District,
Sam's Giving Program,
Savage Services,
Security Service Federal Credit Union,
Select Health,
Smith's Food and Drug Centers,
Sorensen Impact Foundation,
Tab Bank,
Target Bank,
Tesoro,
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Foundation,
Total Dental Administrators,
UBS Bank USA,
Union Pacific Foundation,
United Way of Salt Lake,
University of Phoenix,
U.S. Bank,
U.S. Synthetic,
Utah Technology Council,
Web Bank,
Wells Fargo,
Wells Fargo Advisors,
Western Metals Recycling,
Winder Farm,
Workers' Compensation Fund,
and Zions Bank. Fidelity Investments has been sponsoring this Governor's Breakfast event for the past 5 years, thanks to Charlie Lanch and the Fidelity team that really care about kids.
Now here's Charlie Lanch, Vice President of Public Affairs for Fidelity Investments.
I'll tell you, that's a tough act to follow. I mean, why do they make a guy like me speak after all of this? Congratulations. Your parents must be very proud of you. How about a round of applause for these kids? I truly should have participated in junior achievement as a child. I'd be much better off than I am today. Anyway, thank you so much. On behalf of Fidelity Investments, welcome everybody to the Governor's Breakfast for Junior Achievement. I absolutely love this morning. I love seeing you all, and I feel like I'm amongst friends. I want to say thank you to our governor. Your support of education, junior achievement, your focus on making a positive business environment for Utah that helps us hire, helps us grow, helps us give back to the community. I think I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. Thank you so much for being here this morning and your support. Thank you. And I need to, of course, give a shout out to the Junior Achievement staff, Phil Caulfield and Christy Tribe, for all that you do to help kids prepare for their future. Thank you very much. You guys do an awesome job. Here's to the Junior Achievement staff. So providing our youth with every opportunity to be successful in the workplace and in life is vital to Utah's future, and it is absolutely what junior achievement is all about. Junior achievement provides experiences, the tools, the resources for our kids to better understand concepts of business and personal finance. We think that is very, very important. JA also provides terrific opportunities for volunteers, and this is where Fidelity gets very energized around the programs of junior achievement. We help teach financial services curriculum. We host job shadow days at Fidelity to expose high school students to career opportunities in financial services. And we love to get in there with the middle school students in Finance Park and help them experience real-world business simulations to help them, again, understand what goes on in business. It's absolutely a terrific program. But the reality is the critical success of junior achievement is because all of you give of your time, give of your resources, you volunteer, you open your checkbook, you do whatever it takes. You bring in your people, you're here, you're volunteering, and that is what makes junior achievement available to all these kids throughout the state of Utah, and we are so grateful for that. So thank you very much for all that you give, all that you do, all that you are in supporting this. This is vital to our future, and we're grateful. So thank you. Have a great breakfast. And now I get to be upstaged by a young man by the name of Ryan Cherry, and I'd like to invite him to come up and speak. Hey, Ryan.
My name is Ryan Cherry. I am a student at Fort Harriman Middle School. I just finished the 7th grade. When I was in the 5th grade, I had the opportunity to come to here, JA City. My job for the day was to be the CEO of the Larry H. Miller Corporation. I learned that being an adult and having a job like a CEO is hard. I learned that I needed to manage my time and accomplish goals. In my career technical education class that I took in school, we learned about careers. And one of our assignments was to job shadow a full-time worker for a day. Ever since my experience here at JA City, I really wondered what it would be like to be the real CEO of the Larry H. Miller Corporation. So I looked up Greg Miller's contact information and sent him an email. I was thrilled whenever I got a reply back. Mr. Miller's assistant helped me set up a time to job shadow Greg Miller. That day was amazing. We got to go to meetings together, eat lunch together, and I even got to meet our governor on that day. That was an amazing day. I learned from that day that being a CEO of a large company takes hard work and dedication. Greg Miller gave me 2 pieces of advice: to surround yourself with good people and to get a good education. And that is good advice, and that was a great day. And it all started here at JA City. I want to thank all of you CEOs and business people out there who support junior achievement and make these experiences possible for kids like me. Now it is my honor to introduce you to another one of those JA City sponsors and CEOs. He is one of Utah's greatest entrepreneurs, and his business has brought thousands of jobs to Utah. He is the chairman of today's Governor's Breakfast, Mr. Fred Lampropoulos.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and what an honor it is to be with you this morning and to share a few thoughts with you. Welcome to this wonderful and hallowed place where visions and ideas and encouragement come to our children and grandchildren. You've already heard from a few of our students, and as our Lieutenant Governor has stated, that this is a magical place for young people. Our objective this morning is for you to be enlightened in what is happening at not only JA City, but in thousands of Utah classrooms, all the way from kindergarten to high school, where students realize their potential and to own their own economic success. This municipality has become Utah's STEM Central, with STEM jobs in every business, STEM camps throughout the year, including the first Lego League Championship kickoff, the Geek Squad Academy, Discovery Channel Stimulating Curiosity Camp, UTC STEM Job Scoreboard, iPads for all students, and I should say all adults, and the JA programming, which improves math test scores for students, including at-risk youth. Now, I'm honored to announce this morning that Neil Armstrong, Mrs. Neil Armstrong, has donated to Junior Achievement Neil's medal of his induction into the USA Astronaut Hall of Fame, which will be hung here at JA City. I happen to have that right here. I want to tell you the little story about this. Jane Ann Craig, and Jane, I'm going to ask you, Jane Ann, to come on up here for a minute, and I'd like to introduce her. She is the president of Total Dental Administrators and just completing her second year term as JA's State Board of Directors. She contacted Mrs. Armstrong. I think I'm going to let you hold this because you're the one that got all this done. And asked if we could have this medal. And Mrs. Armstrong said, we'd be delighted to give this to you so that you could put it in at JA City. So what I'd like to do right now is to ask the governor to come forward to join us on the stage. And we would like to formally, again, thank Jane Ann for all of her work. And Governor, here we go. We have astronaut Neil Armstrong's Medal of Honor as Astronaut Hall of Fame right here now to be in Salt Lake City. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. I think someone ought to watch this because it might end up going home with me. I mean, I've got a place for it. Now, we'll be introducing iPads into JA City this fall for each student to use during their day and trying to replace thousands of pieces of paper. And we'll be pursuing a named sponsor. Well, it's kind of interesting about the named sponsor deal. So I was coming downtown this morning, and I was at a local restaurant reading things over and looking at this thing, and I operate my business from my iPad anywhere in the world. This morning, I had the opportunity to see how things were going in Erbil, in northern Iraq. I was checking my business in South Africa and China overnight. I was looking at what was going on in Moscow, in Dubai, and in Europe. And I was doing this all through the use of my iPad. And I read this part that I was supposed to tell you about how we're seeking a sponsor. Well, I walked in this morning and I said to Phil, you know what? It would be disingenuous if I didn't become your sponsor. So I'm pleased to announce that Merit Medical will provide 500 iPads. Is that what it was, or is it 130? If I usually bring my CFO with me. He's really good at the numbers. I can say the iPad part and leave the numbers off. So anyway, Merit Medical will become, hopefully, with your acceptance, the named sponsor, and we're delighted to be able to help out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, each year, Junior Achievement presents scholarships to worthy Junior Achievement high school students, and we're excited to announce a new annual scholarship, the Wayne Cederholm II scholarship, in memory and recognition of longtime JAA board member and friend Wayne Cederholm II, past CEO of CR England, who we lost to cancer this year. The Cederholm family started a memorial golf tournament for Junior Achievement, with part of those proceeds going to sponsor JA programming in our schools and for this scholarship. Wayne's widow, Peaches, is here to announce our 2014 recipient.
Thank you. I want to thank Phil and all the staff at Junior Achievement of Utah for allowing us to present this morning, and for all of the support they've given to our cause. I want to thank Governor Herbert. It's an honor to be here with you today. My name is Dustin Cederholm. I am here as the chairman of the Wayne Cedar Home II Memorial, and I'm here to present the first annual Wayne Cedar Home II Memorial Scholarship. The Wayne Cedar Home II Memorial was started in May of 2013, shortly after my father and the namesake of our foundation passed away from complications after receiving a bone marrow transplant. While it was a moment of tragedy for my family and for all of those who knew him, it also triggered a moment to reflect on what he had taught us and what he would do, or now, what we should do moving forward. Lucky enough, it was easy to know what to do because Wayne Cedar Home II lived his values, and through display, he taught them to us as well. For all those of you that met him, and there are probably a fair amount of you in this room, you most likely came away from your first encounter knowing more about someone and having them know more about you. In most cases, you came away with a lasting friendship with someone that wanted to become better, be greater together. In fact, it was just that idea that got us started thinking about groups and organizations we could support that created that same feeling for the people they serve. That feeling of real-world learning while developing relationships and building a network. And we knew Junior Achievement was doing just that. We knew Junior Achievement was doing just that, originally because we'd heard stories from Wayne. First, about being one of the initial students to attend JA programs, as my dad was when he was in junior high. And then from listening to him discuss what new school he had funded or what exciting event was being planned at the latest board meeting he had just come from. I learned firsthand what amazing things JA was doing when I was invited to an event similar to this in the evening, and then even more so when I served as a volunteer helping run JA City with the kids. But never had I seen or heard the full effect of JA's mission so embodied as when I got the chance to read the applications and meet the candidates who applied for this scholarship. Many of the candidates are already running their own businesses, have held or currently hold high-level positions with local and even national leadership organizations, and have academic records that have propelled them through entire years of college even before they've started. In short, the students that have gone through JA programs are well on their way to becoming great leaders, and we're pretty excited to invest in that. And although we were impressed by all the applications, we did have to choose just one winner. So it is now my great pleasure to present the first annual Wayne Cedar Home II Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship was available to all high school seniors in Utah who participated in junior achievement programming and was based on academic and occupational merit, participation in school or local government, and other related leadership activities. With a total award of $3,000 applied to tuition for the 2014-2015 school year, I am proud to present the first annual Wayne Cedar Home II Memorial Scholarship to David Sagai. David, please come up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am David Sagai, and I am honored, humbled, and privileged to stand here today and speak to you. Before I begin, I would like to thank the Cedar Homes and Junior Achievement, without whom I'd be here today. So let's give them a round of applause. JA has given me the tools necessary to manage my life. Their mission is to inspire, give experience, and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy. And it has done just that for me and allowed me to do what JA President Phil Cofield wrote in his message, that JA programs inspire students to work hard, be responsible, dream big, and aspire each day to grow up and go out in the world prepared to succeed, contribute, help, and lead a good life. It has provided several unique opportunities that have been extremely valuable to me in my life. I was involved in the JA Job Shadow program that partnered with Microsoft and the JA Titan program at Hillcrest High School. JA Titan is a program where we get to simulate managing a business that is trying to sell this product called a hollow generator, and we compete against other teams that are selling similar hollow generators. Our business teacher, Mr. Ed Mondragon, and our business volunteer, Mr. Eric Taji from Brighton Bank, helped facilitate this in class. This gave hands-on experience of how research and development, capital investment, marketing, donations, production capacity, and price point are all factors that can affect the success of a business in various situations. For example, I was able to work through different marketing scenarios and understand how changes in the markets affect the business decisions. One of the settings in the simulation is the maturity phase of the product life cycle. And that is typically where you could sell high and people will be willing to pay the higher prices. And seeing how this affected business dynamics was a useful skill that I learned. The job shadow was a unique experience that our IB Business Management class was able to participate in. Our instructor, Mr. Ed Mondragon with Ms. Wright from JA, and a partnership with Microsoft provided us this opportunity. I was able to learn valuable interviewing skills, presentation skills, and also how Microsoft designs, markets, and reaches its customers. It was a great experience to learn about their work environment, to understand the company's expectations of being a valued worker, their duties, and being exposed to a real-life job. It is my hope that more young people can be involved in junior achievement to have these opportunities and gain these experiences that I was able to participate in. I look forward to working with JA in the future as a mentor and a volunteer to help the younger generations be more productive, more successful, and carry out this legacy of teaching our younger students. Thank you. And now, I would like to introduce to you the chairman of Junior Achievement State Advisory Council and past chair of Junior Achievement State Board of Directors. He was inducted into the Utah Business Hall of Fame in January. Ladies and gentlemen, the chairman and CEO of the Questar Corporation, Mr. Ron Gibson.
Thank you, David. And what a wonderful sight this is. And I want to add my thanks to each of you for making the decision to be here with us today in this beautiful and magical, as Fred indicated, city. And as our Lieutenant Governor indicated earlier on, what a beautiful place. And I think what makes it so special is what goes on in this magical city every single day of the school year as students have the opportunity to come here and learn and to really create that hope and vision in their lives. But we just want to add our thanks to so many today. Certainly Fred for being our honorary chair and host of today, but also for your most generous contribution this morning. Fred, we're glad you went to breakfast where you went and looked at your iPad. But thank you so much. Please do that every morning. And certainly to the Cedar Home family, what a tremendous gift. And to someone like David, who's going to be able to take advantage of such a generous gift and an opportunity now to continue his education and be what I'm sure will be one of our business leaders of the future. And thank you, David, and the Cedar Home family. And certainly to Charlie and Fidelity year after year to continue their sponsorship and for this breakfast. And Governor Herbert, thank you to you and Lieutenant Governor Cox for your, again, examples, your leadership, and your support of education and junior achievement. We also need to certainly recognize Phil Cofield and Christy Tribe, our entire JA team that are all here and working, and we're here early this morning, and just want to thank them, and I think we need to give them another round of applause for all they do. You know, junior achievement touches the lives of over 75,000 students each year. And just as amazing is the fact that they do this through over 5,000 classroom volunteers every year. And that amounts to about 650,000 hours of instructional classroom time. That is tremendous, and volunteerism is alive and well, and certainly a junior achievement. These programs provide career, entrepreneurial, and financial education, and what's amazing is it's totally free to the schools who participate. And the reason it's free is because of each of you and many others that aren't with us today from the business community who have been funding junior achievement for all these years and continue to do so through their generous contributions. You have brochures at your tables that go into more detail, but this truly is a business-sponsored organization. And again, touching the lives of over 75,000 students that will be our future business leaders. It's now my honor to introduce a very special individual, and she's been introduced already, but I'm going to do that again, and that's our current board chair, Jane Ann Craig. Now, as Fred indicated, Jane Ann is actually completing her second year in a row as board chair. That's not common, but that happened as a result of Jane Ann's own insistence, because after her first year, she said, there's so much more I can do, there's so much more that can be done. I would really like that opportunity. And Jane Ann stepped up, volunteered for a second year as our board chair, and I'll tell you that she's just completing that year, but as a result of her efforts, she has raised more money for junior achievement than any prior board chair in our JA history. Jane Ann, thank you for all you do. Even more so, Jane Ann knows the benefit of junior achievement. Her own son was very involved for many years in the classroom and other ways, and actually was our lead speaker, kickoff speaker of our 2005 Governor's Breakfast in the past, and he continues to use that experience today, and he spoke right on the floor of what's now the Energy Solutions Arena, and a great example, but what a great mom, who not only led by example of her son, but continues to lead our great junior achievement organization. Now it's my honor to recognize other board members, members of the board of directors who are with us today, and if they would please stand, and if you'll hold your applause until they're all standing at the end, but if you could, Wayne Cedarholm II from CR England, Scott Blameyers. Scott, where's Scott? Scott, I think you have an announcement to make to the group today, don't you?
Yeah, interesting timing. This has been months in the making, but we do have our annual contribution of $50,000 to present to junior achievement, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Scott. You can give it to Phil there. Scott's just one more example of tremendous leadership that we have on our board. Thank you, Scott, and to Morgan Stanley for that generous contribution. Mark Bouchard with CBRE. Mark, you have to stand. Yeah, please keep standing. We want to show this great support. Gary Boyd with Smith's Food King, Food and Drug. Rob Corcoran, Influence Real Estate. Our own Lieutenant Governor, Spencer Cox. Jane Ann Craig, TDA. Charles Dahlquist with Curtin and McConkey. Charles is here. Alexis Goetz with Enterprise Holdings. Dan Harbeck with Union Pacific Railroad. Malcolm Hastings. Bruce Larson, Goldman Sachs. Ryan Martin, KeyBank. Dennis McDowell, Great Minerals. Dick Prowse, Prowse Development. Dick is here every single year, and Dick, thank you for all you do. Charles Pugh with Workers' Compensation Fund. Greg Reed, Security Services Federal Credit Union. And Edgar Wright with Pepsi, and Brant Bubba Page, Launch Leads. Let's give this tremendous group of board members a big hand for all of they do. And for contributing not only their own time and resources, but that of their companies that they represent, and again, promoting and providing the future for our students. Now I'm pleased to announce the 2013 and 2014 Top Corporate Performance Award awards for Junior Achievements Program Volunteer Support. We actually have two winners this year. First of all, Goldman Sachs, who Goldman Sachs employees volunteered in over 110 classrooms throughout Utah. And also Discover Card for providing over 250 JA program volunteers this year. We would like to ask Bruce Larson of Goldman Sachs and Clint Morley of Discover Card if they would please come up to the stage, and we'd like to also ask Governor Herbert if he would come up for a photograph. And Phil, I think, is here. And Jane Ann, would you please join us also? Thank you. And finally, I appreciate the opportunity to introduce you to something new at Junior Achievement and to Junior Achievement City, and that's what we're calling the Legacy Wall. Hopefully you had a chance to see it as you walked into JA City, right on the left as you walked through the entrance. For years now, we've received, as I mentioned, generous contributions from the business community, which have allowed us to continue the programs that we have within Junior Achievement. But this year, we've started a new program because of others who asked if there are ways they could support. And so now we have a mechanism in place that allows for individuals and families to be able to, again, through their generous contributions, support Junior Achievement City for many, many years to come. As you would expect with a city of this magnitude, there are a lot of operating expenses. The Legacy Wall participants and contributors will provide the funding that will provide for years and years to come the future of this great city, and hopefully for more JA cities to follow, and certainly as we grow in Junior Achievement. So this is a wonderful opportunity. As Fred mentioned, it not only gives students the ability to run businesses and be part of businesses, but also it's improving their math scores, something that's very, very important, and many other side benefits also included with that. So as part of that, I'm excited to announce our original members of the Legacy Wall, Mark and Karen Bouchard, Randy and Claudine Cox, Mark and Jane Ann Craig, Richard Prowse, Phil Cofield, Bill Gallagher, Bill Morton, Fred and Ann Marie Lantropoulos, the Burton family, the Magalet family, and my wife Janet and our family. And the Legacy Wall continues the tradition of people like Larry Miller, and whose vision and passion for Junior Achievement was so evident for so many years, as Larry would be here at this podium speaking at this governor's breakfast for so many years. Hopefully you noticed as you walked in the Larry Miller Bridge, which every student that walks through JA City walks across that bridge as they come into this great city. And Larry's legacy is long, but his support and his vision of what could happen within Junior Achievement was very evident. In fact, Larry made the comment in one of the governor's breakfasts when he said Enterprise City, which was the prior name to JA City, is going to be the real thing. Well, I'm sure Larry has acknowledged and recognizes that the real thing is taking place. And so we hope that many of you will also look at this opportunity to join us on the Legacy Wall and help us provide that support going forward. Thank you again for allowing me to take just a few minutes today to talk about Junior Achievement and to recognize the great achievements of so many. And thank you to each of you for your contributions and all that you do for this great organization. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ruth Wright, and I just finished the 5th grade at Burton Elementary. Last November, I had the opportunity to represent my 5th grade as the mayor of JA City. This was a really fun and interesting experience. At JA BizTown, students like me can explore different careers and have opportunities to learn all about them. I really enjoyed being the mayor and learned a little bit about running a city. My mom and dad talked to me a lot about what I want to be when I get older. They talked to me about how important it is to find out what you're good at and find out what you love to do. Being at JA City helped all of my classmates because it gave everyone a chance to try new things and see what they did well. When my 5th grade class goes up, we will all be happy and successful in our careers if we start finding out now what we're good at and work to keep getting better. Also, JA City let everyone see so many different possibilities for future careers and showed us all that we can find something that we love to do. I just barely finished the 5th grade, but I'm glad that my parents talked to me a lot about the future. I know that all my classmates at Burton Elementary really enjoyed learning about careers and finding out what we're good at and what we love to do. I'm glad that I got to work at JA City as the mayor and learn a few new things. So when I'm the future mayor where you live, you will know that I do a great job because I got a great start right here at Junior Achievement City. A few days ago, I found out that I would be introducing the governor this morning. So I think I may just skip the mayor thing and go for governor. It is now my honor to introduce a great supporter of junior achievement, the governor of this great state of Utah, Governor Gary Herbert.
Well, thank you, Ruth. I'm not worried about a lot of people running against me, but I'm worried about Ruth. It's great to be with you. As always, this is our 27th breakfast with Junior Achievement. We've had 75,000 students that have been served through this program, and about 5,000 different programs with volunteers involved in this effort. So again, we look to you as the movers and shakers really of Utah. The board, as you've stood up, certainly is true. All of you who are contributing to making a great success. So my first priority is to tell you thank you for what you're doing and how you're doing it. And we see the outcomes of this effort. When we see the presentations, hear the presentations from these young people, I think we all can feel pretty good about the future. Our future is bright indeed with these people who are learning and taking that learning on to new levels, and will be the movers and shakers of society here this next generation. So thank you for all that you're doing. I'm honored to be here with the Lieutenant Governor. And appreciate the good work. I found out yesterday that what an athlete he is. And we had a little made-for-television golf tournament. And I won't tell you the outcome, because you want to on Rod Zundel. I'll put a plug in for his golf program. And anyway, it was great to be with the Lieutenant Governor. I appreciate the good work he's doing. He's an entrepreneur in his own right, and really understands how the free market system works. I want to recognize Spencer Eccles, too. I'm surrounded by Spencers. Have you noticed that? And Spencer comes from a varied background, but particularly in business, and has done just an excellent job working with me for 5 years, running our GoEd office and really producing outstanding results in our state, as we really are leading the nation in economic recovery and expansion, and we've gravitated to now the 4th most diverse economy in America. And when you think about Utah, about 3 million people here nestled in the Rocky Mountains here, no coastal cities, the fact that we are so diverse now, again, leads us to understand and believe why our future of Utah is very bright. So appreciate Spence. As some of you know, he's going to be retiring from this position, going on to other opportunities in the marketplace. But I certainly want to pay tribute to Spence Eccles for his good work and running our GoEd office. All of you are special to me, but as I look in the audience, I see my young son, Brad, here. Hey, Brad, how you doing, buddy? I don't get to see all my family as much as I'd like to, so it's good to see Brad here. He works for Zions Bank and just completed his executive MBA program. So another mover and shaker on his way, I think. Let me just mention a couple of things that might be of import. I appreciate the fact that Ryan talked about being a CEO is hard work. It takes hard work and dedication. Fred's working at breakfast here, checking around the world with the new technology in his iPad. Our two young ladies here have been checking their iPhones here, sending text messages. I appreciate seeing pad and pen still being utilized here, though. So the old ways are still germane in some ways. But it does show you that, things are changing. There's new opportunities and new things that we ought to be concerned about as we prepare our young people. It really amounts to two things. We in government have a role to play. Not much, a small but effective role. And that really is creating an environment where the entrepreneur, the risk taker, the wealth creators can participate and find niches in the marketplace, develop products, goods, and services that are beneficial to the people. If they're not beneficial to the people, by the way, they won't buy them. So sometimes we get confused out there in the marketplace. You'll hear people talk about corporate greed, some kind of a selfish motivation, when in fact what happens when Fred provides medical device, people's lives are improved. Now his company is successful now worldwide because he's providing something that the public wants and needs and doing it in ways that make our lives better and doing it at more affordable, more access for people. Lives are improved. It's a wonderful system as we understand it. So what we do here in Utah is try to provide a very business-friendly environment. We do that by keeping our taxes low, make sure we're competitive, making sure that we have sensible regulations, not nonsensical regulations. Now you think, well, who would want nonsensical regulations? I don't think anybody does, but every time we pass a piece of legislation, it spawns regulations. One of them that you know about on the federal level is the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. I know one of Fred's big concerns is the impact it has on his own business because of unintended consequences. I think unintended. But the 2,700 pages of legislation now has spawned over 20,000 pages of regulations. It's hard to even comprehend. So again, government has a role to play, and we need to make sure that we understand that we need to empower the private sector because that's where we get good products, services that is available to the masses at the most affordable prices. Now, that being said, we need to have a labor force that really works too, that understands how to work in this environment, in the real world. What I like about Junior Achievement is it does provide real world experience. People can actually not just read it in a textbook, but understand some of the subtleties, the nuances of, as Ryan said, it's hard work to be a CEO. And it's not just, flying in a corporate jet or meeting people. It really is, there's roll up your sleeves, hard work that's involved, commitment, dedication, determination. Now, I was thinking about this morning on the way in. I used to play a lot of baseball. And I remember my first introduction to baseball was in first grade. And I didn't know a lot about baseball, but I went to the source of the time, which was the encyclopedia. Anybody know what an encyclopedia is anymore? ENCYCLOPEDIA. I learned that from Disney, the song. Anyway, I went to the B edition of the encyclopedia and learned about Abner Doubleday, who was founder of baseball. At least we believe that. We have in Cooperstown that situation. They played a primitive form of baseball called rounders, and he perfected that game, and it became very popular. It became the national pastime. So I learned a little bit about the history by reading the books, and I learned what the rules were. But I didn't quite understand baseball till I actually got out and started to play baseball. And on my way in, I just was thinking of what are some of the things that I learned in baseball. I played what was called the hot corner. Who knows what the hot corner is? Third base. We got some baseball people here. I saw where sometimes there was a little chin music that was played. What's chin music? Brush by pitch, high and tight, crowd in the plate. Pitcher gives him a little chin music. Sometimes you'd see a Texas League single. What's that? Yeah, a little bloop single, not a line drive, not a blue darter, but a bloop single. If somebody's rattling the fences, what are they doing? Hitting the long ball. They're hitting it out there deep. Left center, right center, hitting the long ball. What's an automatic strike? Happens on a 3-0 pitch. You watch the baseball on television, 3-0 pitch. The next pitch is an automatic strike. 80% of the time they'll throw a pitch because why? The batter's taking. He's not going to swing. 3-0 pitch. That's a little subtlety of baseball. Squeeze play. Who knows what a squeeze play is? Suicide squeeze. Okay, well, there's a bunt, and then there's a squeeze. The squeeze is when you bunt when there's a person on third base, and you squeeze them in. He steals home, and the batter bunts, and you squeeze him in before they can throw him out at home plate. Hit the cutoff man. What's the cutoff man? Short, second, depends. Could be first base, could be third baseman. It depends on where the throw's going to. But the outfielder's got to hit the cutoff man to set up the play, to hold the runners from advancing an extra base. What if you're caught in the hot box? Well, anyway, I could go on and on. There's just so many. Can of corn. Who knows what a can of corn is? Can of... Yeah. That's right. You get the prize for getting the most correct answers. Well, anyway, it's interesting. I mean, you don't find those in the dictionary or in the encyclopedia. You learn those things from actually being in the real world and playing baseball. And it makes you a better baseball player. You understand the lingo, you understand what these mean, what the subtleties are in playing the baseball. You won't get it just from reading the encyclopedia or searching the internet. Maybe there's a lingo place now for on the internet, but those things I learned from playing baseball. I also learned disappointment in playing baseball. I learned success. I was fairly good at it. I had a chance, a little known by most people, that I tried out for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And the disappointment came when they said, "We'll call you, don't call us." And but I enjoyed playing baseball. But I use it just as an analogy of how the difference between what we study and what the real world application is. I know Fred and many of you CEOs here would say, you know, what I learned in school, what I learned in my MBA program, and how we actually have to function in the real world, or sometimes don't line up exactly. I was at a school not too long ago with some high school students, very bright, advanced placement young people. And they had this idea of putting solar panels on the school. You know, the idea was solar panels, green, energy, less CO2. And I said, well, tell me why you want to do that. What's your motivation? And they said, that's going to be cheaper, and it will be less pollution. Okay, good motivation. Now, act like I'm the school board. Tell me how you're going to sell me on that if I'm the one that has to make the decision. You've got a good idea. How do you sell me as a member of the school board on that? And we talked about what is the break even? How much do you have to expend up front, and how long does it take for you to break even? Because of what you've talked about, so-called savings of solar panels compared to conventional gas forced air heat, which they have in their school today. And we talked about, and they came up with the answer that was about 10 years, 10, 11 years for the break even when you start getting a net gain. Well, how are you going to pay for that? And we talked about maybe with the savings you could actually bond against it. What about recapitalization rates? How are you going to capitalize this going forward when this system wears out and you've got to replace it with a new system? And what is the overall cost to the benefit? Well, as we had a great opportunity to exchange that discussion, you know, the real world applications of how you actually will go out there and convince a school board, principal, superintendent, the business community that this is really a good place to put your money. Well, that's part of what we're talking about here with Junior Achievement. And I'm sure we don't have to convince you that this is a great place to put your money, to put your time and your effort and your resources, because we see the outcomes that we're getting from this great program. We're given real world experience where people can actually do and be a mayor of a city, where you can actually be the CEO of a company. You understand, as which Fred and I were talking about, how do you balance the budget, for heaven's sake? And if you can't do that, how can you run a business? We certainly don't get good examples, particularly for some of our government entities, particularly in Washington, D.C., about living within our means and balancing budgets, not spending more than we take in, and not having unnecessary debt. So we need to look to the private sector, who really has to do that, because you do not have a bottomless pit of taxpayers' dollars to prop you up with your failures. Again, this is a great learning experience for our young people. So let me just conclude by saying again where I started, you know, thank you for all that you're doing to make this a great success. We're having great opportunities in Utah to lead in ways we've never had an opportunity in the past. I do know I was in Washington last week and had great opportunities to talk to many on Capitol Hill in the White House. Spoke with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce back there as we named as one of the best enterprising states in America. At the same time, we were ranked #1 in the nation for small business and for small business opportunities. I think it's all because we're working together for that same kind of goal, that same kind of outcome. It's not just the governor's office. It's not just the economic development office. It's not just the chamber. It really is everybody working together. Last but not least, what we're trying to do now is with our education system to make sure we're preparing the labor force of tomorrow today. Fred talked about the need to have more STEM education. We need to have not only more STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, but we've got to have a better process to align our skills and what our young people are being taught and what they learn with the demands of the marketplace. And consequently, we're calling on a review of our counseling in our schools to make sure that counselors are in fact counseling. First as parents, but then we need to have counselors who can help with these young people as they assess their aptitudes and help give them direction into what their opportunities in life will be and where the good opportunities are, where they will feel good and comfortable about their opportunities in life to make a living, support themselves and their family. So you'll see a renewed emphasis on counseling as well as emphasis on STEM programs. I am a firm believer that we ought to find a niche in life that you're happy with, that pays your bills. I saw a little cartoon once. It was a little hobo on the side of the street, sitting on the curb and all tattered and torn. He had a little tin cup, and he held it up to the sky, and the caption said underneath it, "Here's to the holidays, all 365 of them." So if you like what you're doing, every day's a holiday. We need to make sure that we provide economic opportunity for the rising generation to be the best they can be, to find a niche in the marketplace where they can be happy. And as they go to work, every day is a holiday. Thank you, Junior Achievement, for all you do to make our future bright. Thank you.
You know, at first I thought you were going to announce a new Major League Baseball team coming to Salt Lake City. Let me just put the word out. I was in Fenway Park on Tuesday evening and watched the Red Sox beat Minnesota 2-1, and then watched a little bit yesterday as they hit back-to-back home runs in the bottom of the 10th inning to win another game 2-1. If you ever want to bring a baseball team here, I've got to be one of those partners. So this is to the Miller family, or I'll be silent. I'll do whatever you want, but I love baseball. And when I got home last night, I was on the baseball field with my son. So thank you, Governor. And let me say something that, and again, I don't want this to be taken politically in any way. But you know, oftentimes politicians are called friends to business. And that has this connotation of somehow there's something sinister going on. Gary Herbert understands business. And I just can't tell you the difference that makes when you're sitting down and talking about growth and education and opportunity. It's the understanding. And not very many people really understand what it takes. The people in this room do. Oftentimes politicians do not. In this particular case, he understands business, and I think it makes it always so enjoyable to sit down and talk to him about opportunities, the challenges that we have. A couple more things, and Governor, again, thank you very much for all you do for this state. Do you know, another person that understands business is, of course, Spencer Eccles. And Spencer, we appreciate it. And you and I have had many long conversations about business in this state and things that we needed to do to compete and so on and so forth. And I want to thank you again for your service to this community. But we have another exciting announcement to make, and this really has to do with the Eccles family, who do so much, so quietly for this community. And that is the George S. and Dolores Dory Eccles Foundation supports junior achievement, and at a very strong level. In December, they presented a challenge grant, and in that particular situation, they requested that if JA would generate $100,000 in new revenue, that they would match it. Well, get your checkbook out, because here's the last $20,000 to hit that $100,000 from Merit Medical. So here it is. So, got it. And we're happy to be part of it. You know, whenever I drive downtown, I always reminisce. My first home in Salt Lake City was 2 blocks from here. It was at Pioneer Park. And it was in the back seat of an old car with a mom and a dad, and a brother and a sister, with no furniture, no clothes, and no money. And the people in this community, particularly Ted Spiros and Bill Papanikolaou and others, provided us with a home. They provided us with a place to eat. And after a few weeks and a few months and a few years, I was the first person in my family of a mom and dad and a brother and sister to ever graduate from high school. The only one. I was the first one to go to college. And I worked all summer long to earn enough money to pay my first semester's tuition at Westminster College. Went to Westminster, scared to death, but a wonderful school. And there was this little conflict going on in Southeast Asia. I was not a member of the LDS Church at the time, and so a mission and those sorts of things were certainly not on the table. But I ran out of money, so I transferred to the University of Utah. And I spent an exciting quarter out on the Commons looking at all the girls and enjoying and contemplating my future. And after 1 quarter, I decided I'd better join the United States Army before the United States Army joined me. So I went in as a private. As it all turned out, it was the smartest thing I ever did. I ended up as an officer, a Green Beret, a master parachutist, and all those skill sets that I learned in the military certainly helped me in business. And I'm also very excited that I have a young son, 17 years old, will soon be 18, who will be entering the U.S. Military Academy in just a few weeks. And that's exciting. And for a dad that started out as an old grunt, it's nice to see that these kinds of opportunities are afforded. My faith is always renewed when I look at these wonderful children and young adults and listen to these kids and their vision and the words that they use and their grasp of business. But in the United States today, there's often a lot of confusion. We talk about American exceptionalism, and there's an argument. Are we different? Are we the same? Should we be the same? What is our role in the world? And I think to many of you, it's confusing. And certainly people that are trying to figure out what their future is, they try to understand, what is our place in the world? Well, I'm going to tell you what our place is in the world. Because despite what you see, what you hear, and what others would like you to believe, the fact of the matter is this. We are the world leaders in thought and innovation. We are the world leaders in forming this world, and we will be in the future. And the reason I say that is because I go to Beijing, I go to Shenzhen, I go to Bangalore, I go to Moscow, I go to Dubai, I go all over the place, and there still is not a better system that offers opportunity and does not have all of the barriers, oftentimes with all the regulations, and we see tons of them. We think that maybe that time has passed, but it has not. We still have the opportunity for a kid that can live in a park, who can be fed by the community, who can go to school for the first time, who can graduate, who can go out and through hard work and education can be successful and can employ thousands of people and build goodwill around the world. One of the places today that we received some large orders, some cash transfer payments, was from Erbil and from the Baghdad central government today. And although things are ominous there, the one thing that trumps it all is American presence and American business. They need our products to save the lives of their people, and regardless of the conflict, whether it be in Pakistan or Syria, whether it be any place in the Middle East or Asia, the fact is they want our products and they want the things that we can do. So we cannot lose faith, we cannot lose the vision that we are still the leaders and always will be as long as we have kids like this and business people like you who believe that. And if you do, and if we provide simple mechanisms, not overly complicated, but just give them a taste, a short 1-minute moment when they say, well, gee, I balanced the budget, I made that payroll, I know how to market, I know how to brand, I can speak the languages, I can go here and there and do the greatest of all things, create a job, create an opportunity, and create a future. And that's what this place does. And we need it more than ever. It's not a passing fancy. It's not something that we should ignore or that we should let somebody else do for us. The fact is, if we understand what's going on in these walls and how it affects these young people. I had a student recently. We invited the local high school to come over. This is Bingham High School. And they brought over 20 students. And we walked them through and showed them the business and showed them the automation and the products and how we're saving lives and creating jobs and doing wonderful things all over the earth. Not just in Utah, everywhere. The next day, the student was down in the lobby, was the advisor. And I said, gee, it's nice to see you again. What brings you back? This is a junior in high school. He said, I'm making a decision today what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. So how many of you had that figured out as a junior? I didn't. And I said, well, okay, so why here? He says, because I think I either want to be a medical doctor or I want to be an engineer, and I'm going to decide today. I just had to come back and just touch it one more time and see it one more time. And I took a few minutes and gave him another tour and showed him some things he didn't see the first time around. He said, I want to be an engineer. From that meeting, we sat down as a staff, and we decided we need more kids in here. Aside from all the programs, we hired 20 interns this summer. We've never done that before. They could come to Merritt And whether they stay at Merritt, they go on and get educations or go other places, we're going to stimulate the minds of those 20 kids who are going to go on and be engineers and have great careers. So it really is up to us. You know, I'm not here just trying to fundraise. I'm trying, like the governor is and all of you, to build a community and build a world. That's what I'm here for. That's why I'm spending my time here and why we're spending our money, because that's what we need to do. And if we want the world to be a better place, at least my belief that we can do it through commerce, because we can provide hope and opportunity. God bless you all for all of your good works, all the things that you do, your vision, your time, your money, your thoughts and ideas. And thank you for your wonderful, inspiring words. Governor, thank you for joining us. We're delighted to have you. This is a great institution. It will always have my support. And even though many of us have had to cut things, we didn't cut here, and we won't. So thank you again very much, Phil, for all you and your staff and everybody. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day. God bless you all, and thank you.